And so as we look at your observation, you looked at your practice, so what do you want to focus on in your observation, and what do you want me to pay attention to?
I really want you to, it was so revealing last year when you did your, the first observation when I was instructing, and you kept track of how many times I spoke with each student. And I thought I did a great job, but it turns out I spoke to maybe a third of the population multiple times, maybe not even that. So number one, I'd really like for you to keep tabs on how frequently I'm talking to the students, the number of students I talk to. But more importantly, like I was mentioning in a previous conversation we had, more importantly, I'm concerned about, do I meet their needs when I check for their understanding, and the level of questions when I'm checking for understanding. Am I operating on a lower level? Is it just merely asking for identification? Am I looking at their ability to apply the concept? And when they respond, do I seem to accept what you would deem as an adequate, response from the student and move on, or if it's inadequate, do I still move on? Or I just need to be aware, because sometimes in the heat of the moment of instruction, I feel like I know where I'm going, I know where I'd like to go with this, and in the process, am I neglecting a few students along the way to reach that level of mastery? So, how many do I talk to? How frequently am I talking to them? The questions that I ask, and do I seem to, does it yield appropriate responses, or am I moving forward over ones that aren't sufficient? So, in short, just make sure that I'm making sure they learn. I'd like that.
It sounds like you want to move them up the Bloom's taxonomy.
Exactly.
Moving from low level to, are they doing some analysis or applications of that?
Exactly.
And then if they're right, or how are you responding? And then if they're not correct, how do you move them towards the correct answer and not sacrificing that student learning to the goal of getting it done?
Exactly. I mean, in last year's observation, I remember as we went over the transcription that you typed up from everything that you wrote down, we were able to see that you said Jay spoke to student, waited, student responded, Jay said almost but not there, and then moved on and started talking to another student about that same issue, and that was kind of a slap in the face as I realized, whoa, I just moved on and they didn't even show me that they have the concept. So taking that into account, I really want to make sure that when I talk with them, they're showing me something legitimate and valid. I'm not letting them off the hook. No letting students off the hook.
Okay, no letting. And you also provided me your lesson plan, and also your seating chart. So what are you going to be teaching today?
Today I'm going to focus on, we're moving towards a character analysis paper, which is going to require them to find supporting evidence, in-text citations. But first of all, I kind of jumped the gun there. They're working on drafting clear and coherent thesis statements, which will drive the focus for the rest of their paper. So we're coming off a lesson where we've really worked on generating thesis statements, but now I really want them to focus on what I would call the most prominent character traits when looking at a character of choice in the book we're reading. Right now we're reading The Giver.
Okay.
So today the primary focus is going to be having them get a clear grasp of what's prominent versus just semi-applicable as a trait, and they're going to look at themselves. And then we're going to talk about the traits they already identified within some of these characters, and I hope to see that they can recognize that not all the traits they previously identified were prominent. And so now as we go into the text today, I want them to find those prominent traits, and as we've already done in the past, they're going to find supporting evidence from the actual text and be able to share that with me. The end goal is for them to be able to find that prominent trait of a character of choice and to be able to formulate a clear and coherent thesis which will drive the paper that we're moving towards. Whether or not we'll actually get that thesis generated today, I can't say for sure, but we do need to get more into the text and continue reading. So you will see a bit of reading, but you'll see a clear sense of direction before we go into it as well, I believe.
Okay, so you want me to pay attention to the type of questions you're going to ask, engaging these students, and then how often you are asking questions of all of the students and the level of your response to them, and the type of question that you are asking them.
Right.
Okay. And then as we look at that, what standard are we going to be looking at in regard?
We're going to be focusing on
For you.
1.6, which is monitoring student learning and adjusting instruction while teaching. And it was so fitting
Oh, I have
because
it.
I didn't arbitrarily select it by flipping through the pages. It was something I wanted to do, and I was looking for something that aligned to it. And then here we go, and I knew it. I felt this was it. Where do I rank right now on this? You know, I said I feel as though I'm applying. I've incorporated, you know, a tool into my class, which is a daily participation checklist. And you'll see me with my clipboard. You'll see the students perhaps ask, did you get my points? Did you mark me down? Because anytime I interact with the student, I'm making sure that they see me physically go up to a point list and say, all right, here's a point, here's a point. The idea behind the point list is that every day the student comes into class and I'm assuming they're going to get 100 points. And those 100 points, they get only when they're able to show me that they've got the concept down. Now, when I interact with the student, I'll add points to that so they can earn multiple, you know, more than 100 points for the day. But at the same time, I use it as a tool to regulate behavior. Therefore, behavior is not really too much an issue when the students hear me say, oh, you just lost 20 points, or you just lost 10 points, or well, excuse me, you just lost 50 points for that right there. It's a quick solution for that. I don't take points, even if the answer the student gives me is wrong, is far off, is just out of the blue, but they're trying. They're not trying to be funny. If they're actually trying to participate, they're getting points nonetheless. I'm going to try to modify instruction as I make sure that the tracker reflects a level of mastery. So if I'm putting a 1 next to a student, in all likelihood, they may have not given me the most valuable response. It may have not been aligned with where I'm hoping to go. Usually for my book, for my notes, 5. 5 means you're on point. So you get 5 points for each solid response that is where I'm trying to go, 10 points for those beautiful, amazing ones, but 1 point just for interaction, just for participation and trying. So I want to start, which I haven't yet, I want to start using that point system to tell me on the spot, like as I'm actually writing 1, I need to say, okay, I need to get her, I need a 5 next to this one now. Okay, so, you know, Miss Rose, we're not going to move on yet. I like your response, but I'm going to push you further.
Okay. So that's what I should be looking for, as if they're not on point, how are you making that adjustment for the student and or you in instruction? If you see like out of 5 kids you ask, you have about 3 2s.
Right. Then that raises an issue that, you know, more than half of my class, if you just want to step back and look at it on a larger scale, didn't get it to the degree that I'd like them to. So yeah, I'm going to start trying to use that point system for more than just points, but also to tell me how well they grasp the concept.
So you can see if that tool works for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked a number of ways already. It has. It's made me aware of how frequently I talk with them, but I know it can be useful for more than just that and discipline issues.
Okay, so anything else before we go for the observation?
No, I'm looking forward to it, though. I really am, because last year, every now and then the teacher needs to take a look in the mirror, but someone else needs to hold that mirror up and direct their reflection. So I'm looking forward to that. So.
Okay.
All right.
All right, and where would you like me to sit?
How about in an open seat, so you can get the feel of a student feel. So any seat that's available, but I won't call on you.
Okay. I appreciate that.
All right.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
sounds
Okay, I'll
good.
see you in a while.
All right, cool.
All right.